Ronnie Coleman laughed at Keanu Reeves' diet until he saw the results. There's a saying in the gym world, eat big to get big. It's the mantra of bodybuilders, powerlifters, and just about every gym rat who lives for the pump. Ronnie Coleman lived by that philosophy. 8-time Mr. Olympia. A man built like a tank, whose breakfast sometimes looked like a buffet. So, when he met Keanu Reeves on a film set gym trailer and saw what the actor was eating, he laughed. Loudly. Because on that morning, while Ronnie sat down with a plate of 12 eggs, grits, pancakes, sausage, and a protein shake the size of a blender, Keanu Reeves, yes, that Keanu Reeves, was sitting across from him with a single boiled egg, an avocado, and a glass of water. Ronnie, who didn't recognize the actor at first without the John Wick hair and black suit, squinted and chuckled. "Man, you forget your food or something?" Keanu just smiled politely and said, "No, this is it." And that's where it began, the clash of two worlds, Ronnie's brute force bodybuilding mindset and Keanu's quiet, almost monastic discipline. But within 6 weeks, Ronnie wasn't laughing anymore. In early 2024, both men happened to be training at the same facility in Los Angeles. Ronnie was helping consult on a fitness documentary. Keanu was in the middle of training for a physically demanding role in a post-apocalyptic thriller, one where he'd be performing most of his own stunts. They didn't meet in a Hollywood mansion or a premiere party. They met in the gym. Not a fancy private gym either, just a well-equipped training trailer used by several film crews. Ronnie hadn't seen many of Keanu's recent films. He knew the name, of course, but didn't follow Hollywood much. Keanu, on the other hand, had seen Ronnie. Not in person, but in the viral videos, the iconic deadlifts, the "yeah buddy" shouts, the sheer size and intensity that made Ronnie a legend. Still, their first conversation wasn't about fame. It was about breakfast. "Is that really all you eat?" Ronnie asked again the next day, pointing at Keanu's minimalist plate. Keanu nodded. "It's what works for me." Ronnie raised an eyebrow. "You ain't getting no gains with that. Where's your protein?" "I get what I need. I eat clean. Very clean." Ronnie laughed. Not out of disrespect, but because he genuinely couldn't believe it. "Man, back in the day, I'd eat your whole day's meals before noon." Keanu didn't argue. He just shrugged and said, "Different goals. Different tools." That phrase stuck with Ronnie. Different goals. Different tools, Keanu's diet wasn't just simple, it was surgical. He followed a strict intermittent fasting plan, an 8-hour eating window, 16 hours fasting. During those 8 hours, he consumed lean protein, moderate fats, and low glycemic carbs, mostly leafy greens, quinoa, avocados, fish, and occasionally a small serving of brown rice or sweet potatoes. He didn't touch processed sugar. Didn't drink alcohol. Drank black coffee in the morning, herbal tea at night. Drank water, lots of it. Ronnie, ever curious despite his doubts, started watching more closely. Every morning, Keanu arrived early. Did 30 minutes of mobility work, then strength circuits, then martial arts training. No breaks. No wasted movements. Pure focus. At first, Ronnie thought, okay, actor stuff. He's lean, he moves well, but he's not lifting heavy. But then, something changed. Around the third week, Keanu added more weight to his compound lifts. His deadlifts went from 185 to 275. His pull-ups increased from 8 to 15 reps per set. His Turkish get-ups, a brutal full-body exercise, were now done with a 53-pound kettlebell. Clean, efficient form. No complaints. No ego. And more noticeably, his physique began to change. He wasn't bulking up like a bodybuilder, but he was hardening, his abs were razor-sharp. His traps and shoulders popped with definition. His arms were vascular. And his energy? Relentless. Ronnie took note. Because while Keanu didn't eat much, what he did eat, he used. The conversation. One afternoon, Ronnie walked up while Keanu was sitting on a bench between sets. "All right," Ronnie said, "I gotta ask. What's the deal with the diet? You training for a role or something deeper?" Keanu set down his water. "Both." "Go on." "I learned a long time ago," Keanu began, "that I perform better when I'm light. Not just physically, but mentally. Heavy meals slow me down. Sugar clouds my thoughts. The cleaner I eat, the sharper I move. I don't need to be big. I need to be efficient." Ronnie nodded slowly. "So it's more about precision." "Exactly. I train like I'm preparing for battle. Not to look good. To survive. To outlast. To adapt." Ronnie was silent for a moment, then said, "You know, I used to think anyone not eating 5,000 calories a day wasn't serious. But looking at you now, I get it." Keanu smiled. "Like you said before, different tools." Ronnie tries it. Ronnie had no intention of switching diets entirely, but curiosity got the better of him. He asked Keanu to help him try the plan for a week. Just a week. Keanu agreed, with a warning, you'll feel weak for the first couple of days. But then something shifts. So Ronnie gave it a shot. Cut out sugar. Reduced portion sizes. Switched to lean meats, veggies, and only water or tea. The first 2 days were rough. He felt foggy. Hungry. Tired. But by day 4, his energy stabilized. He woke up without stiffness. His joints felt better. He moved more freely. What surprised him most was the clarity. Man, Ronnie said on day 6, I feel clean. Not just lighter, but clearer. Like my brain isn't fighting my body. Keanu just nodded. That's the zone. Respect earned. By the end of 6 weeks, Ronnie had watched Keanu do something that few others had, earn his respect not through mass or brute force, but through discipline, focus, and results. I used to laugh at guys who ate like rabbits, Ronnie admitted. But watching you, how you train, how you recover, how consistent you are, I get it now. That's real strength. Quiet strength. Keanu gave a rare, almost embarrassed smile. Thanks, man. That means a lot. Ronnie, never one for sugarcoating, clapped him on the back. Still not giving up my barbecue, though. Keanu laughed. Didn't expect you to. 2 legends, 1 lesson. In the world of fitness, extremes often define the landscape. Bulk versus cut. Mass versus lean. Heavy versus fast. But what Ronnie Coleman learned from Keanu Reeves, and what Keanu humbly demonstrated, is that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes, it's in restraint. In quiet repetition. In the discipline to say no, to stay the course, to choose function over form. Ronnie didn't abandon his diet, nor did Keanu start benching 400 pounds. But they both walked away with something better, mutual respect. 2 legends from different worlds, meeting in the middle, not over fame, or fortune, or flexing, but over a boiled egg and an open mind. Because in the end, the body reflects the mind behind it. And Keanu Reeves' mind? Sharper than a blade. Calmer than a monk. And stronger than anyone expected. The philosopher and the powerhouse. Keanu and Ronnie began training together more regularly, though their routines remained very different. While Ronnie still pushed big weights, Keanu introduced him to exercises Ronnie had never paid attention to before, mobility drills, deep core work, and breath-focused stretches. This is yoga, man, Ronnie said during one of the sessions, stretching his hamstrings with visible pain. Keanu smiled. Controlled suffering. Just like leg day, right? Ronnie groaned. Only leg day didn't make me feel like my spine's turning into rope. But by the end of the week, Ronnie admitted something surprising. His lower back, which had always ached since his competition years, felt better. Looser. Alive. The call from the director. One morning, while sipping tea together in the trailer, Keanu got a call from his director. The scene had changed. There was now going to be a bare-knuckle fight sequence on an uneven mountain trail. Long takes. No doubles. Keanu looked unfazed. It'll be beautiful, he said, hanging up. Ronnie shook his head. You realize you just signed up to get tackled on rocks for 2 days? Keanu just said, pain is temporary. Film is forever. Ronnie muttered, you and your monk wisdom, but deep down, he respected the mindset. That was something they had in common, commitment beyond comfort. Cheat day challenge. One Friday, Ronnie proposed something new. All right, Wick. You've been eating like a disciplined monk. Let's have some fun. Cheat day. Keanu hesitated, then nodded. All right, but I picked the activity after. Ronnie grinned. Deal. They hit a southern food spot. Ronnie ordered enough for 3 people. Keanu, surprisingly, joined in, fried catfish, mashed potatoes, a slice of pecan pie. Man, Ronnie said mid-bite, I thought you'd order salad and stare at me in judgment. Keanu laughed. Discipline includes knowing when to let go. Ronnie raised his fork. Now that's a cheat code. The mountain run. The next morning, Keanu's part of the deal came due. He met Ronnie at dawn. Bring water. And running shoes. Ronnie blinked. Wait, we're running? What followed was a 3-hour trail hike run through steep switchbacks and forested paths. Ronnie, sweating buckets, tried to keep up. At the top, both men stood overlooking the valley. Why'd you bring me up here? Ronnie asked, breathless. Keanu smiled. Because the view is better when it's earned. Ronnie didn't reply, but he took a long look around. Maybe he did get it. Injury and insight. During a light sparring session, Keanu rolled his ankle. It wasn't serious, but it forced him to modify his training. Ronnie came by with a compression wrap and some old-school bodybuilder advice. You don't push through it. You train around it. Keanu nodded. Adaptation. Over the next few days, he focused on seated upper body routines, breathing work, and cold therapy. Ronnie watched, impressed. "You know," Ronnie said, "when I used to get injured, I'd get angry. You just slow down and redirect." Keanu replied, "Anger wastes energy. I'd rather spend it healing." The podcast. A podcast host caught wind of their unlikely friendship and invited them on. They agreed, not to promote anything, but to talk fitness and philosophy. The host asked, "Ronnie, what's the biggest thing Keanu's taught you?" Ronnie thought for a second. "To listen to my body instead of yelling at it." "And Keanu," the host asked, "what's the biggest thing Ronnie's taught you?" Keanu looked over. "To push past what I think is possible." The episode went viral. 2 men. 2 disciplines. 1 message, respect your path, but stay open to others. The diet bet. Ronnie challenged Keanu, "Let's swap diets for 1 week. Full on." Keanu paused. "Even the pancakes?" "All of it." They agreed. Ronnie went plant-based, intermittent fasting. Keanu, for the first time in years, ate 6 meals a day, oats, grilled chicken, sweet potatoes, protein shakes. Keanu's reaction? "I feel like I'm carrying a food baby." Ronnie, meanwhile, admitted by day 4, "I kinda like not feeling like I'm digesting bricks all day." At week's end, they swapped back. Neither converted completely, but they both took a piece of the other with them. Gym etiquette. One afternoon, they spotted a young guy curling in the squat rack. Ronnie, ever the old-school lifter, rolled his eyes. Keanu approached the guy gently, gave him tips, and redirected him to another area. Ronnie asked later, "Why'd you bother?" Keanu replied, "Everyone starts somewhere. I'd rather guide him than mock him." Ronnie paused, then nodded. "You're right." It was a small moment. But it spoke volumes about character. The challenge of silence. Keanu invited Ronnie to a meditation retreat. 1 day of silence. No phones. No talking. Just breathwork and reflection. Ronnie almost laughed him out of the gym. But then, curiosity again. "Fine. But if I go crazy, it's on you." They went. Hours passed. Silence thickened. Ronnie fidgeted, shifted, sighed. But by the 6th hour, he stilled. Afterward, he said, "That was hard. But, I think I needed it." Keanu said, "Sometimes the hardest lift is the one in your mind." The test of the mirror. One morning, both men stood shirtless in front of a mirror, post-workout. Ronnie, still huge, still carved from granite. Keanu, lean, wiry, defined like a coiled spring. Ronnie said, "You ever wish you were bigger?" Keanu replied, "You ever wish you were lighter?" They laughed. No, they both said at once. And that was it. 2 bodies. 2 blueprints. Same pride. Legacy work. Ronnie shared he was building a community gym in his hometown. Not a big one. Just a place where kids can lift, learn, and feel safe. Keanu offered to fund half of it, quietly, no credit asked. Ronnie refused at first. Then accepted, but only if Keanu visited the opening and gave a talk. Keanu agreed, smiling. "Only if you teach a yoga class." Ronnie groaned. "You trying to kill my reputation, Wick?" The film premiere. The film Keanu trained for finally premiered. A gritty, violent epic with relentless physicality. Ronnie sat in the crowd, watching every punch, every fall. Every stunt was real. Every movement, earned. Afterward, he told Keanu, "That wasn't acting. That was war." Keanu replied, "Just doing the job." But Ronnie saw it clearer now. The training. The diet. The mindset. It all led to this. Art forged in discipline. The final rep. On their last training day together, Ronnie challenged Keanu to one more workout, 100-rep bodyweight circuit. No breaks. Keanu didn't hesitate. They went rep for rep burpees, push-ups, lunges, squats, pull-ups. Near the end, Ronnie's legs shook. Keanu's breath shortened. But they pushed. Side by side. At the finish, Ronnie gave a thumbs up, chest heaving. Keanu said, "You didn't go easy on me." Ronnie replied, "Neither did you." They fist bumped. Brothers in iron. Ronnie returned to Texas. Keanu went back to filming. But the connection remained. 2 men who met through fitness. Who challenged each other. Changed each other. And walked away better. Because sometimes, the most unlikely training partner doesn't just change your body, they shift your entire mindset. And though they may never train together again, the respect, the brotherhood, remains. Not built on fame. Or fortune. Or flexing. But on shared sweat. Shared silence. And a boiled egg. 2 legends. 2 worlds. 1 lesson, discipline beats noise. If this story inspired you to rethink what strength really means, *, not just in the gym, but in life *, then you're exactly who we made this for. Hit that like button if you're chasing growth beyond the weights. Subscribe for more untold stories of grit, mindset, and transformation. And drop a comment, are you Team Ronnie or Team Keanu? Or are you forging your own path? Because here, it's not about lifting heavier, it's about living better. Your journey starts now.